come here tonight and plead with you. Believe in yourself and believe that you're somebody. As I said to a group last night, nobody else can do this for us. No document can do this for us. No Lincolnian Emancipation Proclamation can do this for us. No Kennysonian or Johnsonian Civil Rights Bill can do this for us. If the Negro is to be free, he must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and sign with the pen and ink of self-assertive manhood his own Emancipation Proclamation.
We thank you again for coming, and at this time it's time for the major event, the main event here, and that is to present the Image Awards to our honorees. We have 9 honorees this year, and 1 distinguished, and you'll know who it is when it happens. But we'd like to ask the honorees if you would be ready when we call your name to come to the front so that we can acknowledge you. We have several firsts, as Attorney Thompson mentioned, and this is an amazing time. And so we would like to acknowledge you by name, and the bios are in the program, and we will take care of that as we go. First, we'd also like to have another excerpt. Before we begin this, we'd like to have 1 more excerpt. We have 2 more. Also, if you have not filled out the questions, the answers to the trivia, you want to do that right away. A committee member will be walking around and gathering your papers, and we will give out the prizes based on the first 3 correct that are pulled from the basket. All right?
The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy.
Our first honoree is Mr. Niles Benn, Esquire. Put your hands together for him. Niles graduated from Temple University, where he earned a Bachelor's of Science degree. He is a 1972 graduate of the Dickinson School of Law, where he was the chairman of the Legal Aid Society and a member of the Moot Court Board. He was admitted to practice before all of the courts of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, the United States District Court for the Middle District of Pennsylvania, the United States Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit, and the Supreme Court of the United States. He is a member of the York County and Pennsylvania Bar Associations. Since 1978, Niles has served as a board member of Holy Spirit Hospital, located in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. And from 1995 to 2000, he was the chairman of the board of the institution. Additionally, Niles was elected as the first chairman of the board of Holy Spirit Health System in 2000 and served in that capacity through 2010. Niles has served as chairman of the board of the American Cancer Society Pennsylvania Division from 1988 to 1990 and was also a former member of the National Board of American Cancer Society. In 1984, Niles received the Volunteer of the Year Award from the American Cancer Society Pennsylvania Division, and in 1993 received the National Award from the American Cancer Society, the St. George Medal of Outstanding Contributions to the Control of Cancer. The second floor of the Ontario Heart Center of Holy Spirit Hospital is named the Niles S. Benn, Esquire Cardiac Surgical Services. in honor of Brother Niles. Niles is also an adjunct professor at York College of Pennsylvania, where he teaches legal, ethical, and global environment of business candidates pursuing a master's degree in business administration, and also acts as the adjunct professor of business law for the undergraduate department. He has also had the privilege of serving as lead counsel in various media lawsuits that have had national attention, including Dover's Intelligent Design trial, in which he represented 2 reporters from different newspaper publications. He also was successful in securing public records that were archived for the 30 years with respect to the civil rights murder. Most recently, he had argued a case involving the release of the time response logs before the Commonwealth Courts of Pennsylvania under Pennsylvania's right to know legislation. Because that case was argued at the appellate level, it resulted in new law being created affecting the entire state of Pennsylvania. Recently, he has had 2 articles published, The Pennsylvania Lawyer, a magazine distributed to all members of the Pennsylvania Bar Association. Those articles were titled Understanding Pennsylvania Courts and Primer of Pennsylvania's Sunshine Act. The latter article related to the transparency in government decision-making. And additionally, he was moderated 2 television programs on the Pennsylvania Cable Network on behalf of the Bar Press Committee of the Pennsylvania Bar Association. The subject matter of the November 2014 broadcast was the court system in Pennsylvania, and the program that aired in January 2015 related to public access to judicial records and proceedings throughout the Commonwealth. He is an AV-rated attorney and has attained the status through a strenuous peer review council rating process that is managed and monitored through the Martindale-Hubbell peer review rating system. It is the highest legal ranking and ability of ethical standards. He has also been chosen as a select lawyer for the Harrisburg, Lancaster, and York regions in the areas of business, real estate, and employment law. Do me a favor, once again, put your hands together for one of our recipients in the Niles Benn.
All the plaques read the same. I'm going to read this particular one. The MK Image Awards Achievement presents to Niles S. Benn, Esquire, in grateful appreciation for your dedicated and communal impact in York, PA, the Black Ministers Association of York, PA.
It's kind of weird having your eulogy read while you're still alive. I was going to introduce myself as Robert Lambert, in case any of you... All we did was just change the color of our skin. When Oscar called me a number of weeks ago to tell me about this award, my first reaction, quite frankly, was to cry. I don't know what I've done, in all sincerity, to deserve this award. And the probability is that the committee should check their votes. They'll find that they made an error, but I'm not giving back the award. I can honestly tell you, and it was said to you, that in 1984, I won the greatest award one can win from the Pennsylvania Division of the American Cancer Society as the Volunteer of the Year for the entire state. I became active in the Cancer Society because my mother, unfortunately, was stricken with breast cancer shortly before that, about 8 years before that. And as somewhat of a control freak, I realized that there was nothing in life that I could do to make my mother better, but possibly I could volunteer to make the lives of others stricken with cancer a tad better. And in 1984, at this particular dinner, there were better than 1,000 people present, and I was sitting way in the back of the auditorium. And when they were reading a description of the honoree without telling us who the honoree was, I recognized that it was myself, and I was very upset and disturbed. The award was given in Hershey, that my mother wouldn't be present to hear this. And as I proceeded all the way up front to receive my award, I saw my mother sitting at the very first table, and I was so greatly moved. My mother died 6 years later. I'm only sorry that she and my father are not here today, because I will tell you that next to that award, and I have received many in between, this is the most honorable award that I can receive from this organization. I am so moved because this award is given in the name of one of the greatest Americans that ever lived, one of the strongest particular individuals that ever lived, one of the gutsiest individuals that ever lived, a man that really stood for what the first several words of our Constitution stand for, we the people. And in the course of the American dream, many people have forgotten who we the people are. We the people are all of us people. Some of us, through whatever reason, birth, may be more privileged than others, but we are put on this earth to help our fellow man. I wanted my two grandsons to be here today, Ashton and Seth, because if you learn any lesson from your grandfather, learn that whatever you do in life, the most important thing is to help your fellow man. Thank you ever so much.